I just think Quan isn't a good character. Why? Why? And I could give two shits about Madrigal. Come on, guys. What are we doing? Master Chief's ass. I didn't expect that. What the fuck is this? I'm really confused on what they're gonna do. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Halo PODST. We're breaking down all the episodes of the Halo TV show. We're Season 2, Episode 6, Onyx. I am your host, Jake Williams, always joined by my buddy Sparks.
Buddy now. Huh.
Yeah, that's it. I've known you for like 7 years, and that's all you get.
All right. I don't rate as high as your regular co-host, but
No. And he also isn't forced to watch things like this show, and I do apologize.
You brought this on yourself.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gaslighting myself and trying to tell myself the show is going to turn it around. That's what I kept saying in season 1.
I'll just have to start calling you Ackerson.
Yeah. I will say this. This episode is better than the last episode, but that's not saying much at all.
Like I showed you earlier, my general outline note at the top was very straightforward. Not as bad as 5, but still pretty shitty.
And okay, so right before we started recording, there's something I wanted to say about this episode. And what really this episode said to me, that opening, we spend all that time on Reach. We don't know where Kai is. Kai shows up at the very end of episode 5, so we know we're gonna have that story in episode 6. And so, because I had captions on, they mentioned it. I think they do say it in dialogue. We get the introduction of the Spartan 3s in this episode.
Yep. Those are quote unquote Spartan 3s, aka Marines in suits.
Yes. So this is going towards the ODST route, and I'm sitting there watching it, and it's Perez. She's clearly the new, character that we got to care about now, as they've been doing the last couple episodes. So she's doing that training, and I'm sitting there watching it, and then everything that unfolds after that, and I'm just like, why didn't they just do this? Forget Chief, forget John, forget all that stuff. Why didn't they just do an ODST show? Why didn't they just do like Spartan Ops? And I understand with the name like Halo, you want to have your Master Chief, you want your mascot out there, but like, why not do this? Because this was interesting. This I like.
Sure, I had found it to be okay. So we're just gonna tear into this then.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing. So we open up. She's part of a squad that's doing an assault on a Covenant cruiser, and immediately I'm like, holy fuck, how far ahead did we fling? Because this doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, let's establish the timeline here. So we had that whole bit where Ackerson was gaslighting everybody, and then the Covenant show up on Reach, and then Ackerson and Kai and all of Oni fucking peace out. So then, I'll be generous. I'll say like 24 hours later, fucking the Covenant start their assault. Okay, cool. So in the span of what I would call maybe 6 hours, we get to the part where Perez and the survivors get off planet before it's getting fucking glassed. And then we get the hallway scene, which, you know what? I'll give it an hour after they leave. Cool. And then we have our saviors, fucking Quan and Liera. And then everyone pieces out of there. And then we get a firmly established little timeline that after they had left the planet and Riz had been injured, he had been out for 2 days before talking with Halsey. She put him under for another 3. And in a matter of like an hour, they were going to touch down on Illyria. Right? So we're talking a week. Okay? A week?
Yeah, give or take. I mean,
Yep, look,
yeah.
just ballpark it, a week. So, in that time, we would establish that I'm guessing somehow Perez found this Onyx site somehow because they had
Yeah.
gone through all the trouble to saying it was like it wasn't on any maps. Nobody knew about it.
Yeah, and they're gonna. Yeah, this says something about you're gonna. Yeah, there's a whole thing of dialogue about
Yeah,
that.
no, like believe me, if you enjoy exposition heavy episodes, this is your fucking jam. Otherwise, fucking what? So even then, by the time they leave Ilaria, you suggest they spend even 2 days on Ilaria. How long was the time between the Ilaria episode and where we are here that she has become part of the Spartan 3 program and they've done all of this training? How long?
I I I don't know. I don't know. My only guess would be that Ackerman already had the Spartan 3 idea already in place at Onyx, and he was just looking for Kai or someone to lead them. Was my guess out of that, because I agree with you. The timeline seems really short to be training new Spartans like
Oh,
that.
fucking short. Holy hell. Like, we're talking like, hey guys, here's a suit. Now you're going through a training simulator. And we're going to establish a relationship like you guys have known each other for months. But it's been maybe a week and a half.
I mean, does it sound a bit like crazy to me to think like season 1 could have been how to make that super effective would have had something like this, where you have a group of Spartan 3s, you have this ODST stuff, even still have Kai running it and being like, I know, and because you could play up that dynamic of Kai being like, I'm genetically modified, I'm the superhuman, you're not, you're just someone I gave a suit.
Well, now she's basically reduced down to instructor.
Yeah, but and have that build up, then have the fall of Reach or whatever, and do what they did in Halo Reach, where all these Rogue One, all these characters play a part. They're important, but they're dead by the end of the season. And then season 2, you could bring in Master Chief. You know what I mean?
There are so many different directions they could have taken everything.
And they chose the worst one.
So instead of the silver timeline, again, we're just calling this the worst timeline.
It really because this is what's so frustrating about this show, and we've said it time and time again. I have a friend that's also watching it, and he said the same thing. When there's action, the show is good and effective and fun, but any other time, it is boring as shit. Like it just is.
Yeah, it's like in its worst points, it's like they could not write a convincing story to save their lives, and that's unfortunate. So I don't understand what in the hell we're doing here. We have these Spartan 3s, and they're all training for this exercise, and they're being instructed by Kai, and we show that Perez still has some amount of PTSD from Reach, and then she challenges Kai on what they're doing, calling it bullshit. And I'm like, okay, you want to elaborate on that? Are you trying to say this is pointless and we'll never pull it off? I don't know what the hell you're getting at.
Yeah, and I knew this. We were kind of going towards this. Just given the I knew that at some point we were going to get back to Perez and she was going to play a role. And I like the idea of going this route, but this is honestly, this kind of shit should be season 3 or some other thing, because what happened? Again, I just don't get it, man. They had so much good momentum from that 4th episode, and where I thought, hey, maybe in these last half episodes they're lasered in, they're focused, they know where they're going with this, and they don't.
Well, here's the thing. You thought they were lasered in. In fact, they're lazied in.
That was bad.
They're just going to... you know what? I stand by it because it still takes more effort than what they've been doing.
I thought they were going to be like a friggin' Spartan laser, dude, and zoned in and end the season. And I don't know. Maybe they will in the next couple episodes, but it's just
Oh boy, you and your wishful
I keep
thinking.
gaslighting myself.
Oh my god. So speaking of gaslighting, so from all of this, we cut to Parangosky and Ackerman, and they're fucking having tea. And Parangosky tells a story about the history of these particular tea leaves, and it's all bullshit. She's basically just flexing her power, telling Ackerman that she's making Oni make these tea leaves genetically down to like level 4, because I guess that's a fucking flex.
Cool.
And then we really get to the thrust of it, because once again, everything she just said was pointless fucking bullshit. She was like, oh yeah, hey, so we're aware of a ship that entered our space, and they're closing in on our location, and it's like, oh, well, one of our agents on Ilaria said they saw Catherine Halsey. And, he's like, oh, you know how many times I've heard of Halsey? She's like, in the last 18 hours. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Again,
Oh,
the timeline is all...
the timeline's fucked. I'm sorry. And he's like, and what blows my mind is Ackerman is in like complete fucking denial that there is any chance whatsoever that Master Chief could have made it off of Reach.
A guy who has repeatedly, at this point, shown that there's a reason he's a propaganda piece, because the dude just doesn't die.
Well, and that's the funny thing about it. So they're doing this, and like they've got all these propaganda pieces sitting around them, because this is how they're going to motivate honored Master Chief.
Yeah, fight for Chief and all.
Yeah. What really kills me though here is that Ackerman he's like suffering from this debilitating underestimation of Master Chief. Like Chief saw through his bullshit. He survived Reach, and now it's coming to his fucking front door to kick their assholes inside out. And like, just give the guy the fucking due respect he deserves from everything he's done up to this point. Instead, he's like, nah, I fucking left him for dead without his suit. Motherfucker, what?
Yeah, it's just that I think it does do, I think, plays well to Ackerman's hubris and arrogance, and I do like that about this. But again, his plan just is ridiculous, because it's like, why wouldn't you want your most valuable weapon? And also, wouldn't they know about the pellets and be like, wait, why are you acting like this? And then give him their pellet, like put another pellet in him while he's like sedated or some shit? Like, why wouldn't they reinstate that? That's one thing that's been bothering me this whole season. As like, why wouldn't you reinstate that if you found out about that?
Well, fuck. I mean, you try to pin down a fucking Spartan and put a pellet in their back again.
Yeah, man, you could find a way to trank them.
But I mean, I just think it's really bad writing, because Ackerman, for as smart as he's supposed to be, why is it so hard to believe that Chief managed to make it off of Reach alive? Why? Like, you think he hasn't been through worse shit? And then of course, after all that denial, we cut to Master Chief and the crew outside of Onyx, because duh, of course they're here. So right off the bat, we have Soren and Chief, and they're talking about what their plan is. And this is interesting, because we talked about it before the show. Like, throughout this entire episode, there's like 5 fucking plots, and some of them diverge, and other ones just go off and do their own fucking thing. It's
okay. Well, speaking of the storylines not making any fucking sense. So here's one. Halsey says, I know where Kessler was. Well, where the fuck were you last episode? What were you doing?
She just holds her fucking aces. Well, okay,
exactly. Why didn't she fucking mention that? If she knew, why didn't she say that in the last episode and let them go on that fake goose hunt?
Well, that's actually...
Or witch hunt, whatever the fuck it was.
She knows that if they got him, if that Oni got him, she knows where he'll be on Onyx. She couldn't have possibly known that they would come and claim him from Ilaria. That's fucking insanity. That's fucking like omniscience at that point.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But still, it's like...
But
you talk about season of conveniences. Oh, yes, Kessler just happens to be where the fucking Spartans are made.
Oh, yeah, no, this is all convenience. And that's a great thing. So, Chief and Soren, they point out the one place that Kessler could be. And at this point, pretty much, Soren and Liera they go off and do their own thing, and we're not really going to talk about them at all. Like, they were there, they fucked off, and we'll pick up with them at the end, but I get the feeling their shit's going to come in the next episode.
Of course.
So let's just go ahead and forget about that whatsoever. Speaking about forgetful things and things you would like to forget, Kwan is off chasing her ghost because we just won't let this fucking die. No,
Nope.
not a
Nope.
thing.
Nope.
Now I've seen online, like, some people are suggesting that it's like some sort of Forerunner thing, and
It
I don't
is,
know.
I think, because her personal episode that we didn't watch last season had to do with a Forerunner thing that her family's tied to some Forerunner shit.
Yeah, again, it's Kwan. I don't give a flying fuck.
I don't either. But yet they insist that I should give a shit about this made-up character for the show. But again, it's just like they're just trying so hard to justify their own creation when you could have just not and acknowledged it didn't work and killed her off screen like you
Or-
teased us with at the beginning of the season.
Or you could have done the Forerunner thing way later down the line, like the games did.
Yeah, because the Forerunner shit is Halo 4. Like all that stuff with the Forerunners doesn't come in until after Bungie, which
Because ultimately, it's not important.
I don't care.
You need to establish your characters first, and you're putting the fucking horse before the carriage, and it's dumb.
And we gotta have, and again, it's gotta have that stupid like. We're doing a space opera, so we have to have some sort of silly connection to religion, like Star Wars and Dune, and it's like. And you could do that. You know how you could do that? With the fucking Arbiter, which is his whole thing in Halo 2, is him pulling an REM and losing his religion, and you don't see any of that in this season. Hardly at all.
So in the interest of frustrations, I'm going to save us the trouble, okay? Here is what happens with Kwan. She chases her ghost, gets launched to her subplot with Halsey, where they go down to a well, just like they had on Madrigal. They explore the caverns beneath. Halsey's been there before. We fast forward. They get to the end of it, and Miranda finally makes her appearance. She says, well, I'm fixing your mistakes, and that's pretty much where we leave off, with a giant fucking door. Who gives a shit? I'm sure it'll be important to the next 2 episodes. Or not.
It won't, because who cares?
So, moving on to things that are more important.
Well, we're still talking about things that we don't care about. To close that loop. Again, I don't give a fuck about Kessler. I just don't. And the fact that they're turning into a Spartan, that whole plot line, I'm like, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, I'm also going to close the loop on this one here. So Soren and Liara go off to that mysterious building. Turns out it's called Thermopylae, and I'm pretty sure it's just an old Spartan, or a current Spartan training facility.
Yeah. Yeah, which is like, see, we're Spartans, Thermopylae. Remember the Persians and all that?
There was blood on the floor. People come in, and that's pretty much where we leave them. The end.
And, yeah, so, and the chief is like, I know where he is. He's over there. It's like, yeah, they're still making Spartans.
Quote, unquote.
Blah, 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 whatever.
Again, these are Marines in suits. Let's not kid ourselves.
And I also, I think at this point in the episode, I do want to say, again, I don't hate everything in this episode, and I'm trying not to be super negative on it, but it is just so frustrating for me because I see a good show in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. But I just, like, they continue to focus on storylines and plot lines that are just so filler and nonsensical.
Well, okay, so here's my general thoughts on this. One, they're trying to do a lot and a little. It's the same thing we've been having problems with Disney, where we're getting like these 8-episode seasons, and they're trying to just jam-pack every piece of shit in there. Whereas like in the old model, you get like 24 episodes and you can really let a show breathe. Here, it's everything jammed in, and we're getting an episode with 5 different plot lines, and we don't need this information now.
Yeah. Well, and I get it. Like, TV and stuff is different now with streaming and all these things, but like, I just don't understand how you guys could sit down, map out an 8-episode season of a franchise like Halo, and come out with this. like I said last time, you said it earlier this episode, it just feels like there's not enough confidence that in the material.
Well, and it's dumbfounding because if you look at like what they did with The Last of Us, and I hate to drag that one into the argument because it already had a pre-established storyline that was already pretty strong, but they did it in a short span of episodes, and not only that, they took one episode out and gave it to two side characters and really fleshed them out and made you care
and
about
did
them.
it effectively, unlike this show.
Not even effectively, to the point where it was an award-winning performance. And you motherfuckers are just jam-packing 10 pounds of shit in this 5-pound bag.
Well, but you know what else? And again, fuck it. I will make that comparison. I know that you're like, oh, The Last of Us isn't a league of its own. But you know what they did? They got Neil Druckmann in the room. Neil Druckmann participated in creating the show. It's almost like they should have got the people that worked at Bungie, or if they do or they don't, or whoever wrote the original games or the books or anything like that. They should have consulted them and worked on it. You could still do your whole Silver timeline, tell your own Halo story, sure. But at least consult with these people so you can actually integrate things from the lore and not make things up.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, looking at The Last of Us, you can't tell me that it's beat for beat. There are changes they made, very noticeable ones.
But
it works.
And I'm going to compare it to Fallout again because the new trailer for that came out this past week. I watched that trailer and I was excited because you know why? At the very least from the trailer that I watched, it was appealing to me, a player of the video game. Who is this show for? Truthfully. Because it ain't appealing to Halo fans. Because,
Not really, no.
And no part of these trailers for this show where I was like, oh man, that feels like Halo. Like I did with Fallout, where I was like, oh shit, I can't wait for the show. This looks awesome. It's just frustrating because I do care about the franchise. I do care about Halo. And not as much as other stuff, but like...
But here's the thing.
I just want more from this show, and it's giving me nothing.
See, here's the thing. I can even be more impartial. I don't really care about Halo that much, and I don't really care about Fallout. But I can tell you, watching the Fallout trailer, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely Fallout.
It feels like Fallout.
And the beauty of it is they don't feel beholden to any of the storylines from any of the games because you don't have to. It's a whole fucking world you can explore.
Yep. Yeah, like we mentioned last week, it because of how wide open the games have to be because it's an RPG. Yeah, it lets you do more.
But you can still bring in some of the elements that are familiar. You can still put bobbleheads fucking everywhere.
Dude, there's so many Easter eggs. It was heaven. I loved it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. They knew how to play in that sandbox.
They knew how to appeal to me, a Fallout player. They're like, hey,
you specifically. In the opening for the trailer, it said for Jake.
Exactly. Well, Walton Goggins at the beginning, and then showing him up as a ghoul, man. I was like, whew, you got me in.
Yeah.
I love Walton Goggins. That dude's great. But
again, you have a talented writing cast from the fucking Westworld.
Well, exactly. Jonathan Nolan Christopher Nolan's brother worked on the Dark Knight trilogy, worked on Westworld. Like, they got a really talented, known writer. And that's why I have confidence in that show because it's, like we talked about, good writing. And I just, to kind of bring it back around, is, for me, like, looking at that trailer, watching The Last of Us, you can feel the confidence of the people making that show on the screen. And you can, with that confidence, you can't help but be immersed in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, even beyond that, you can... First off, you know right off the front that Amazon wants to compete. So they're actually going to put their money where their fucking mouth is. They're going to put the care and the effort, and they're going to make sure it's right because, A, they know who this is for. Why the fuck would anybody who's not a Fallout fan, or at least, tangentially aware of it, give a shit about this show? We're not making it for the new people. We're making it for the people who like Fallout.
And that trailer did enough things that it made it broad enough that people that aren't interested in Fallout, it does, like, oh, that seems, what's this thing? It's interesting. Like, And I think that's another problem of the show. It tries so hard to get a mainstream audience that it just ignores its built-in fan base, which is baffling to me.
But okay, so we're kicking a dead horse at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going the rest of the episode. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna spin off into the more interesting storyline because fuck all the rest of them going on the outside. So after Chief and Soren do their whole thing, basically Soren's like, "Hey, whatever you're thinking, don't do it. You're too banged up." Which again tells me that there hasn't been much time between here and Ilaria. And Chief, he's not gonna listen to that fucking that advice.
You ruined that. You ruined like the one good thing I liked about this episode, the intro. You ruined it with logic because I'm like, yeah, why is she training this hard this quickly? I can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah, no, the timeline doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, Chief doesn't go listen to that advice. So, and, obviously Oni's aware he's there. So before you know it, there's a bunch of Marines trying to fucking shoot everybody. And we get like one of the good parts of this episode, which is Chief whooping Marina ass.
Okay. I like it. It's good. We got to get Pablo Schreiber's face on the screen.
Well, okay, so just like season 1, there's a butt coming.
And I understand narratively why he's not wearing his suit.
Sure.
But at this point, can we just let him whip some ass in his suit? I just want to see him in the armor more than the like 2 episodes that we got.
Well, he's got to go get his armor.
I know, but it's like
this isn't magic, Jake.
Here's another. Okay, I'll wait till we get to that point.
So,
but like, I just again, it was cool. It was awesome.
He's whooping Marine ass. I'm good with this. Even like shoots one of them in the
get
fucking.
Get in this damn armor.
Shoots him in the goddamn shin.
Oh, and the first thing when he got that like tangled those dude's fingers in that rope or that chain, I was like,
no,
God.
different part. We're not there yet.
Oh.
No, the fight in the woods.
Yeah.
No. That's so he whoops her asses until he gets surrounded, and I got to appreciate the logic here. Rather than trying to fight his way into the
just let them
building,
take you. Yeah,
get fucking captured and
showing his smarts as a soldier,
as opposed to everybody else who thinks that if you tie him up with some ropes, you're gonna fucking be able to restrain him. Hilarious. I'm glad you guys are dumb.
But think about this. I just think that would also be a funny visual of them putting all these ropes around Master Chief in that armor. I'm just saying.
Sure, and there's a YouTube video out there where somebody
some
goes
dude will
back
CG it in and fucking
But that's the great part about this. Like, stupid fucking Marines thought they were gonna be able to chain him down without any resistance.
And again, when there's action, it's where the show shines, and I just don't understand why it doesn't double down. But
so we get to
here
this.
We are.
So we get to this holding cell, and that chief fucking Marine from Visegrad comes in. It's like, oh, look who's got the gun pointed at them now.
The one that was gonna get punched in the face by Kai.
So she fucking taunts him for a little bit, and he says, "Hey, tell Parengoski I'm coming."
Again,
I didn't need this dialogue. I thought it was implied.
I like it. Because it makes him like a cheesy action star.
Yeah, it makes him a fucking tough guy. So. But
that's what I mean, though. I really want to say something positive for once. Again, Pablo Schreiber is the best thing about this show because that motherfucker is working his ass off to try and elevate this material.
And to think the best part of season 1 was Kai.
I really do think Pablo Schreiber. Like it seems like, at least to me, there's a little bit more motivation to this Chief versus last season, and mostly because Chief is better when he's pissed off. I think.
Sure.
When he's got a target and he's going, and like that is the one thing I think they really kind of got right about him this season, and they got right about the character is when Master Chief has a target, he will do everything in his power and nothing will stop him. He will kill that motherfucker. And that's what's going to happen.
And once again, Ackerson did not fucking understand that.
And how Ackerson cannot pick up on that, knowing this motherfucker will just go through anything to kill someone. He's just like, yeah, he died at Reach.
No. And again, his stupidity kicks in later. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the Marines, the Marine commander, lieutenant, whatever, fucks off. And the scrubs go to like actually chain Chief down, and we get our second fight sequence, which again is fucking great. It's almost like that elevator scene earlier, back in like episode 3, where he just like fucking just owns a bunch of Marines. Yeah, great. Fucking, and like you were talking about, he like whips the fucking chain around and catches the guy in the fingers.
Oh God.
And
See,
like,
not enough movies to focus on that. That's really how you can win fights, man. Just go for people's fucking fingers.
what
You ever have your finger messed up? It ruins up everything.
well, then even after whipping them all around, I think one of them was like getting ready to pull his gun. I was like, don't,
Yeah.
don't do
The
it.
good
Don't do
scene. Good scene,
Yep.
but you know.
that. Yep. So and then he looks up and there's a camera, and then
Again, I like it. I like this shit where he's like smirking and he's doing things because it's like it's showing his and it's going back to the Reach episode. It's going back to what he doubled down on this season of like, I'm not going to die. You will.
It's very Jason Bourne.
Yeah. He's an action star, and it's like, again, okay, at least we finally figured out the best thing about Chief is making him an action star. It's kind of crazy.
So after all of this is because, we only get 2 good scenes in all of this, and they're 2 fight scenes, and they're over really quickly. We cut to nice. Chief goes looking for Ackerson and Paragoski, one of the 2 of them. And while he's on the move, Kai manages to find out that, Chief is alive. Oh my God, he's alive. Yeah, he's fucking alive.
Okay, so I also thought about Kai's character in this episode. Because in the first part of this episode, she comes off like... She comes off as like this hard-nosed instructor, right?
Well, I think in some capacity she's grieving. So she's deflecting.
Yeah, but she just, like, I don't know, from season 1 to season 2, like, it is such a weird change in her character, I feel. Because I think it's a little childish to be mad at it. Because if they're really trying to say she's mad at him for one thing where he says, I don't need a friend, I need a Spartan, that's pretty fucking lame. Especially given that Chief lost the most important thing of that season to save her life.
I don't think she was that upset about it that it set all of this off.
Okay, well, let's go even further. You're not going to trust the guy that has been with you through all this shit, saved your life.
Okay.
Did everything to help you. You're not going to believe him?
Consider this. Okay, consider this. She has had asshole Ackerson blowing fucking smoke in her ears for episodes now, trying to degrade that trust because of this erratic behavior that he'd been showing while he was fucking gaslighting everybody. He's, trying to discredit Chief.
Yeah.
And he's just been subtly doing it. And then you get like the trip out to Visegrad, the erratic behavior and seeing McKee, even though McKee's supposed to be dead. So like it's these little microaggressions that have just built up.
Still haven't explained why she's alive.
Yeah, I don't need to get into that. I don't care enough.
I guess that's true. I guess there's
they set up this foundation of like trying to discredit him over the course of like 3 episodes because I guess that was enough.
Regardless, I just felt like where we last saw her in episode 3, I felt like she wasn't at that point that she is in episode 6. Unless we had, I don't know, an indication of time.
But again, it's
instead of the fact that it's what 10 a week, 10 days.
So you're skipping over another important fact. She thought he was dead, and he managed to reappear. And before they even reunited and got to talking, Ackerson decided to again fucking just mess with her head. It's like, well, he's here, and the only way he could have gotten off Reach is if he worked with the Covenant, because the Covenant he basically like half spills all the details that the Covenant took out Visegrad because they were looking for the artifact, but he got the artifact off of Reach, and now Chief, who should be dead, is now working with McKee, and they're coming for the artifact, and they know that it's here. Like, he does this like elaborate fucking number to try to convince her that he's in league with the fucking Covenant. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard, but she just kind of nods and goes, you compound that with everything before this, and Yeah, that's the only reasonable explanation why Chief is here. No possible answer otherwise.
I also find it interesting. So all that's we forgot to talk about the second simulation.
Yeah, her basically replaying the hall scene, which doesn't make any sense to me because how would you have known that was going on if you weren't there?
Well, I mean the team where they win.
Oh,
The
nobody cares.
Well, no, because that is where the big that's the start of the descent between them is when she finds out that nothing happens after they put the spike in the thing, like they pretty much win the simulation, and she's like, only thing harder than getting on a Covenant ship is getting off a Covenant ship. You're taking it easy on them.
I don't even think it's that.
But I think that's kind of the start of it.
Well, no, I think what his point there was,
they need hope.
It's not even that they need hope. They have no hope of getting off the ship, so why fucking put them through it? It doesn't matter. They're going to die. As long as one of you manages to plant that spike, that's cool.
Yeah, as long as you get the thing that the data and all that.
Yeah, we don't have a plan to get you out. You're kind of fucked. But we're going to get you there.
We're going to let them think that there's hope.
Yeah, because they're like...
Because hope will drive them.
Because she's like, no, you let them win. So no, he didn't let them win. He doesn't have a plan to save them. And that's how she kind of like backs him into this reveal later on that everything he's been telling her is a lie. But that's further down the road. We got to get to one step first, which is our next fight scene, which is not so much a fight scene as a fucking pistol whipping. Because Kai and Chief end up fighting. I guess Chief goes looking for a fucking map. And they basically talk, and then he kind of reveals that, Vanek's dead, and
we
Riz
lost
is...
Vanek. Where were you?
Riz is alive, but she's, elsewhere. She's alive, though.
Okay, here's what I wanted to talk about. I feel like, in my mind, Kai would have given him his suit and wanted an honorable fight if they were going to fight each other.
That's the thing. It wasn't supposed to be a fight. She was just supposed to detain
she was
him.
trying to just stop him, and because she is clearly emotionally distraught about it because she says, please stay down, or, like she keeps telling him, stay down, so I don't have to keep beating the shit out of you.
Like the point here isn't for a fair fight; it's to detain him.
I think overall this scene was an effective one. I think that Kai and Chief. I think like it was an effective scene. I think the first thing that he said, first two things are immediately what I would have said, like, "Oh, Vanek's dead. Where the fuck were you?"
Yeah, that's fair.
And then also I gotta call bullshit on Kai. You've seen firsthand what this dude can do, and you think
so my larger issues with this are more just fucking. Basically, it's catharsis. Like she's had a lot of frustrations about that last conversation they had because why wouldn't you?
And these guys, clearly Spartans are not going to know how to properly handle their emotions because they're just learning about them.
Yeah. How could you?
They're like pretty much teenagers, honestly.
But again, she's operating under the delusion that he's probably working with the Covenant, even though that's utter bullshit. And
that's what I mean. That's why I call bullshit on her, because it's like, you're really going to fucking believe this guy after everything you went through with him is going to be like, yep, he's on the Covenant.
That's the thing. Like they spent, quote unquote, so long like degrading her trust in him and him doing things without, being truthful with his team. That's the team. He took him on a fucking secret mission to Visegrad.
True. Okay, again,
it's just been a quote unquote subtle erosion of the trust between them that ultimately came to a breaking point when he told her that I don't need a friend, I need a Spartan. Spartans listen to what they're told, and they do what they're told.
I'm still your commanding officer, so do what I tell you.
And at this point, Ackerson, basically just told her what he wanted her to hear,
I
and
can
had
make
her
you the new Master Chief, pretty much.
yada yada. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I guess through this, Kai kind of learns about everything because he basically tells her, "Hey, we got fucking left for dead. No suits. They wanted us to die."
Yeah, and
And
where
with
were you?
yeah, and that was after again a pistol whipping because Chief wasn't fighting back at all.
I can't wait for the obvious Kai face turn at the end of this season, where she comes out to be the Deus Ex Machina and save Chief. Can't wait. It's gonna, it's gonna happen.
Oh, I imagine it. This show's full of so many.
It's so predictable. It's gonna happen.
But anyway, she goes off, and while Chief is lying on the ground, Cortana manages to reach out to him. That's a whole thing. We'll get into that here in a bit.
Can I just say, I actually liked this scene a lot. I like another positive. I think it was a nice, little understated, sweet moment where Chief seems like he was genuinely happy to see Cortana.
Well, and that's the thing. Like by the end of season 1, there was a little more trust established between them. And as he had said earlier in the season, after they took Cortana out, he kind of felt this emptiness. They kind of reversed track on that weird fucking distrust from season 1. But she reaches out to him, while ultimately she's also talking to Parangoski because we get to learn what their little deal was, that ultimately she was going to infiltrate the Covenant and kind of lead their fleet to the UNSC for an ambush. And that basically Parangoski was going to leave Cortana to fucking die on the ship, assuming that it worked. Because Cortana's like, I've run the simulations, and this doesn't go exactly the way you want. But Parangoski doesn't want to fucking listen because she's a cutthroat bitch like that.
Which I don't remember being that evil in the first season, but okay.
Yeah. But so through this, we learned that Cortana can multitask. She can talk to Parangoski and Chief at the same time.
And
so good for her.
Yes, it worked. Yeah, she sent off that. But and just their interactions together, that's another thing. When they do interact, I was actually thinking about that, being like, wow, that's another thing. Cortana really isn't in this season as much. And usually she is, very important to the story. She almost comes a package deal with Chief.
And I think that's something they've been trying to do. I noticed in a couple different places they kept talking about trying to build up the humanity of the Master Chief, to see him as a person rather than the figurehead that we know him as in the Halo games.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I guess we got to do that.
This is another scene. I knew this wasn't going to happen, but in my heart of hearts, I hoped it was, where she takes a while to open the door. I was hoping it was going to be his armor. I knew it wasn't going to be. It was going to be the friggin' stupid artifact, but I was just like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's all this has been
just
driving
give me the
towards.
armor, dang it. That's all I want.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be back soon. They didn't get rid of it.
And they better bring it back for the last 2 episodes. I swear.
So, yeah, Cortana is supposed to be leading the Covenant into an ambush, and I don't even know that she's doing that. She leads Chief to the artifact so that he can connect with McKee. Kai corners Ackerman and makes him reveal the truth about Reach. And, while all of that is going on, McKee is dealing with Covenant bullshit, about as simply as I can put it. It turns out there's a bunch of priests on Arbiter's ship. They want to go back to High Charity, and they don't know why it's taking so long. And Arbiter's basically just fucking pushing them off. And then, again, they're being stupid, evil, alien, racist assholes.
I think the CG actually looks pretty good in this episode.
Sure, that's where we're putting the money.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to point out positive things.
So Cortana is talking to McKee, and then McKee reveals to Cortana that she can't access the artifact with that Chief anymore because some reason she can't feel him anymore. Maybe it's because she died. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Are we ever going to fucking address that in
No,
this show?
it's not
Ever.
important. Ever.
God. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they're fucking holding that for these next 2 episodes. And it's like, okay, fine. Whatever. For the second time this season, the Arbiter has his sword threatening like he's going to kill Maquis. But no, he kills the other priests.
Well, so and all of that happens after Cortana takes control of the Covenant ship's communications to reach out to the UNSC and to Chief, and that starts a whole thing with the priests, and they want Arbiter to kill Maquis, and he pulls out the sword. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it," and then he fucking fakes them out and just starts slaughtering them, and Maquis starts crawling on the ground towards the artifact, and while she's doing that, Chief is approaching the artifact on Onyx. Sorry, she's crawling towards what I don't remember if it's officially called it, but the cradle. It's basically what the artifact sits in.
Yeah.
It's one half of it. She's crawling towards the cradle. He's getting closer and closer to the artifact. And then she can finally feel him. And then we kind of just like cut to black during this moment of dramatic tension. And all of this is going on. Then, of course, they end the episode by cutting to Soren and Liera in Thermopylae, where we get the name of the next episode.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, well.
That was an episode, to say the least. It's an hour of your life. It's exposition heavy. It has bright spots, but they're fast. It's like somebody pointed a laser in your eye.
Yeah. It again, better than the last episode, but still a lot of bummers in terms of story, because I don't know what we're doing. I don't know where we're headed. And there's 2 episodes left.
Like if you consider the last episode to be a turd, this is a polished turd.
Well, clearly they're going for the ring. Duh, they're going for the Halo.
What? No.
But that's it.
No. Are you telling me they're going after the namesake of the show in the show?
And the whole thing that kind of was the whole point of the first game, yeah.
Yeah.
Second game, yeah.
So very weird you would suggest such an idea. Like, again, it's so exposition heavy. There's so much needless bullshit. You've basically got fucking Ackerman twirling his villain mustache.
To what end, really?
Just dramatic tension.
Because if you think about it again, it's like, it's not a good plan.
No, it's a dog shit fucking plan.
Not a good plan.
You know, what are we building towards here? You're training a bunch of Spartan 3s to go die in a Covenant cruiser. And what cracks me up is when they were doing that, like, oh no, so if you cut off their technology, you cut off their communications, then they just fucking die. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
When has that ever been a thing?
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I think you're just setting them in for a suicide mission because, you know, you might have been in the field, quote unquote, but I don't think you fucking understand it.
No.
People
definitely not what they were trying to do. Especially when, you know, Kai kind of laid it out there, just being like, it's even harder to get off the ship. It's a miracle you get on it. Even harder to get off of it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of underscores what's actually going on there. There's no plan to get them off the ship. They're fucking doomed.
Yeah. I do kind of, I think that is a good point. I think that is kind of the beginning of the change in Kai being like, oh, this dude just wants these motherfuckers to die. He does not care.
Well, it's not that he wants them to die. He
just doesn't care if they do, I guess.
Yeah, they're expendable, which is pretty much his attitude towards Reach. We didn't fight for it because we were going to lose. So instead, the simulations. Yes, Reach fell. It was always going to fall. But you could have tried. So, no, it's just him acting like he's moving pieces on the chessboard, but no.
It's just really just disappointing.
Again, Halsey is a much more compelling villain, even at her worst. This guy's just a douche.
Well, truthfully, I can say I am disappointed. Because I think the show
You
is.
and Kevin Sorbo.
Don't you ever compare me to Kevin Sorbo, you son of a bitch.
Disappointed.
Well, I don't know, man. I just feel like there was such good momentum in those first 4 episodes, and then we kind of hit a wall here in these last 2 episodes.
Well, do you understand the idea of a parabola?
Yeah.
So we were building up, we hit our high point, and now it's all down. Like, maybe they'll redeem it in the last 2. I'm not optimistic. And if they do it like every other fucking Disney show where, like, we spend our time dragging our feet,
And then the big spectacle is the last episode.
and well, and then it's over in like 30 fucking minutes.
Because, we ran out of time.
Yep, that must be it. That was the plan all along. I don't know. I've been pretty upfront about this one. I think it's better than 5, but only marginally. Like, if 5 was a C minus, this is a C plus.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
we talked about it off mic. Episodes 5 and 6, which so far haven't been great, were directed by Otto Bathurst, who's actually an award-winning director. I think he directed some like Peaky Blinders and other stuff like that. So I don't think the direction is a problem because I think the show is reasonably well shot. I think
it looks great.
Yeah, I think a lot of this rests in the writing, and the writing is absolutely dog shit.
And not understanding the source material.
But if there is a silver lining of this, the next 2 episodes, we go back to some familiar names in the writer's chair with Amadou Garba writing episode 7. He actually wrote episode 2, which, you know, not bad. And then David Weiner, the supposed showrunner, he's writing episode 8, and he wrote episode 1. And we've got Denny Gordon, who's actually a pretty experienced director, actually directed some of The Office. So, you know, maybe there's some levity in this. If not, okay.
Fingers crossed that we end on a high note.
But my guess, ultimately, the next episode is called Thermopylae. And you know what? I'm just going to call it. We're going to spend some time with Soren and Liera and figure this Kessler shit out. Maybe he's already a Spartan because we don't know how fucking far in the future we are. He's like 35.
Yeah.
35 and a decorated war hero. That's the only thing that makes any sense.
I feel like we're wasting so much time.
Yeah, actually, I bet if you like go back and figure out, you cut out all of the Quan shit, and you cut out the Kessler shit.
These probably 20-minute episodes.
It might be a 20-episode or 20-minute season.
Why?
Because they have to pad the runtime and save the budget.
I would agree. C+ is a pretty fair grade on that.
It's generous.
Yeah. So next episode's Thermopylae. Here's hoping it's better. Fingers crossed.
I'd like to say it can't get worse, but it obviously can. So
I think for me, what could potentially redeem the whole season is if we see the Arbiter-in-Chief have an actual sword fight.
Okay, and to me, we could redeem the entire season by Chief waking up his bunker, and it was all a dream.
Oh my God, the last 2 seasons were just a dream.
We just reboot the season right, reboot the
fucking
series right now.
Twin Peaks.
Not even like he wakes up in his bunker. Like how did Halo 2 start? He fucking crash landed in the jungle.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just laying on the ground in the jungle right now. And we start in Halo 2.
Oh, did you also catch the Easter egg on the posters that said finish his fight?
I assume you know it's something more than
Well,
I
yeah,
do.
because that was Halo 3, the marketing campaign. It was finish the fight.
Oh, okay.
So finish his fight. I was like, yeah.
I don't know. It's all a propaganda machine.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Can we wrap it up with this? Did you hear about the composer of the games? Like he's running for some office, and he's like
He's running for Congress.
He's like he came out with like some crazy like right wing views and like so now there's been this like weird discourse about whether or not Halo is a fascistic propaganda pro military propaganda piece or if it's not, and I'm like, who fucking cares? It's Halo.
First off, he was the composer.
He didn't write the fucking thing.
He wrote the music. He wrote a bunch of God. What is this? Why?
How did he have any input on the story? He just
how did you make this connection?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I was just like, what? And secondly, no, maybe not. Who cares?
I mean, it could be like some sort of assessment of the military-industrial complex, but
here's to just put a bow on this. So it.
I mean,
it was just a few days ago, but here's what makes me laugh in the world that we live in, 2024. So Marty O'Donnell, the composer of the games, he announced on his Discord server that he was intending to run for the Republican Party third congressional district seat in Nevada. But it's just funny to me that like he announced it on his Discord server of all places. But
I guess everybody's gonna have any idiot with a Discord server.
Speaking of, I should make one for off panel, off topic. But till next week, we're gonna be going to Thermopylae.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to digest this one for a while.
And to wrap it up, Sparks, what do we always say?
At the end of the game, the king and the pawn go back in the same box, even if there's shit in there.
Might want to clean that out.
You would hope so.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.